From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 27th, 2014. Silver is trading at $17.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,231 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $357. Antiwar.com reports the ouster of the Islamic State from Jerf al-Sakar, just south of Baghdad, was much less of the liberation that officials presented it as, and rather another sectarian conquest with the Shiite militias pushing into the overwhelmingly Sunni town. We've heard that story a few times already, and what came next should surprise nobody, as militias captured putative the Islamic State members and carried out summary executions in broad daylight. One of the militia leaders noted, "These dogs are Chechens. They don't deserve to stay alive. We took confessions from them, and we don't need them anymore." The sectarian underpinnings of the war have loomed large over battles for many towns, with Sunni locals not necessarily pro the Islamic State, but seeing remaining under their rule as far safer than being under the Iraqi fold and a rule by militia. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. For over 35 years, Roberts & Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They now take Bitcoin for purchasing precious metals so you can turn your profits into a long-term investment. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing. 800-874-9760. The AP reports Ukrainians overwhelmingly backed several pro-Western parties in a landmark parliamentary election on Sunday, another nudge in the former Soviet republic's drift away from Russia. Two exit polls released as voting closed indicated that President Petro Poroshenko's party will secure a narrow win in the parliamentary election, falling short of an outright majority. Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk's Popular Front followed close behind. Although they lead rival parties, Poroshenko and Yatsenyuk share pro-Western sentiments and have campaigned on reform agendas aimed at pulling Ukraine back from the brink of economic ruin. The parties are expected to join forces with other reform-oriented groups to form a broad pro-European coalition. Talking to supporters at his party headquarters, Poroshenko said coalition talks will start today and will last no longer than 10 days. Almost 3 million people were unable to vote in eastern regions, still gripped with unrest as government troops continue to wage almost daily battles against separatists. The vote on Sunday will substantially overhaul a legislature once dominated by loyalists of ousted former President Viktor Yanukovych. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Coinbase. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. That's coinbase.fppradio.com. The BBC reports protesters in Hong Kong have abandoned plans to hold a ballot over whether to accept several government concessions. Protest leaders said they decided to adjourn the vote after disagreement over its format and apologized for a lack of discussion with the protesters. The vote was to be held electronically and was canceled just 4 hours before it was supposed to start. Last Tuesday, student protest leaders and government officials held talks for the first time, but made little progress towards ending the impasse. The government offered to send a report to Chinese government officials reflecting the protesters' views and set up a platform to facilitate dialogue on future constitutional changes. Protest leaders initially rejected the government's offer before pledging on Friday to hold the now-canceled vote. Benny Tai, one of the founders of the Occupy Central protest group, said, "We feel we have been conducting the vote hastily. We decided to adjourn the vote at the square, but it doesn't mean that the movement has stopped." In a statement, Occupy Central said, "We apologize to the public for the lack of discussion among the participants before making the previous decision." Though numbers have fallen significantly since the early days of the protest, a hardcore of demonstrators, mostly students, have said they will not give up their occupation of central areas until China changes its mind on the rules for Hong Kong's 2017 election. The Chinese government has ruled that candidates for the chief executive election must be vetted by a nominating committee dominated by pro-Beijing groups. The protesters say they should be allowed a wholly free choice of candidates. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.